Hi Cosy, so this is just a quick video to go over how to upload images to the Luxmoor website. The first thing to say is, in essence, uploading photos and images is fairly straightforward. There are some things to consider about sizing, so what I'm going to do in this video is just quickly show you how you can change an image. So I think from what you said, it's mostly the blog section and the example projects that you wanted to change images in. You'll find those are labelled, so for example, Kitchen Extension Essex would bring you to this project here. And then what you would do basically is you click on where the photo is, and you can see that the photo is then highlighted in the green box. Over on the right hand side, you would click Change Image. And if you've got an image, I'm just going to drag something off the desktop as an example. So let's just say this image here. You'd upload the image. Takes a couple of seconds depending on how big the image is. Bramble will try to compress it a bit so it's not too large for you, but that then fits that quite nicely. There's something to remember here, which is the light box. So when you click on this image on the website, it opens a larger version for people to see, and that's the light box version of the image. So if you notice on the right hand side here, you have the image, and at the moment it's remembered the old image that was there, as if you click to enlarge, you'd see the old image. So without getting too complicated, the only thing you need to do is turn that off, click up the text somewhere else, click back on the image, and then click on open in Lightbox again. So effectively every image that you upload, you want the same image here as you have as the Lightbox image here. They need to basically match. That means when they click on the website, they get the correct image of the enlarged version. I won't go too much more into that, but if you don't quite understand that, just watch this video back again, and it should make sense. But basically every image that you upload, the top and the bottom image on the right hand side here need to be the same. Now you can get size issues. So for example, if you've uploaded something 90 centimeters wide and on the website it only needs to be about 30 centimeters, what you'd notice is this image is far too big, and you would then need something like Photoshop to be able to go into the image and make the image smaller, because what you don't want to do is upload huge images that are too big for people's screens effectively. So I always say, as a guide, most photographs I upload for customers are about 35 to 40 centimeters wide. That's the maximum width I tend to go when using the internet and uploading images to galleries and various other pages. You can go bigger than that for things like the image slider on the front, or images like this where you're trying to showcase a project. You can go a little bit bigger, but if this image was right off the edges of the pages, you'd need to go back in and make it smaller. So yeah, that's basically what you do. Same with all these other sections down there. You'd click, you can go in, you can change. So you can swap out and change images as easy as that. If, for example, that you decided you've got more photographs and you'd like to have some more photographs somewhere else on the page, you can do this little bit here. And again, you might need to watch this back for it to make sense. But over on the left-hand side, you can duplicate a whole row. So in this instance, one image next to another image, we can duplicate that. So we've now got another copy of it, and we could move that somewhere else. So for example, we could lower it further down the page. We could have two new image boxes set up down here. And again, we could upload two new photographs into there if we wanted to do that. So you can do that as well. Same as if you had decided you've got another large image and you'd like that to appear. Over on the left, you can duplicate. You can upload your new large image, and you might decide, for example, you want to start the whole page with that new large image. So you've got that duplicate feature to help you out if there's more images you want to add in. So another thing just to quickly say is, I've obviously messed about with this page here. And that's absolutely fine, because as long as I don't publish at the top on that green button and I just leave, I've not saved that change at all. So I haven't interfered with that page. That page will be exactly as it was. So if you want to sort of play around with images, you can do that. And as long as you don't click the green publish button, you won't do any damage. Just when you go back into the website, it may ask you if you want to keep that settings I've just changed, because it's auto-saved it, or do I just want to discard those changes? Sometimes it'll ask you that. Always click on discard, because then what we don't want to do is obviously what I just messed around with there. We don't want that to be live and on the website. So if you do load Bramble up and it comes up with a prompt and it asks you if you want to discard the changes, for example, like that, always click on discard, because we don't want to basically change what I've made there. Another thing about images quickly is you have half an hour a month of free support. Most of my customers use that to change images because they're not quite confident in themselves. They would rather the images resize and compress properly. So they'll use that half an hour time of support to get me to change the images for me. So if you want to drop me some photos on email, I can do that. That's not a problem. If you want to have a go yourself and do it all yourself, again, that's not a problem. You've got access and you can do that. And finally, there's a size guide. If you actually go onto the website itself, and for example, if we went to a project page, and let's say we want to replace one of the images here. So let's say we've got a better photo of this now, we want to replace it. The best way to make sure it's the correct size image is just to drag it into Photoshop. So if you drag that into Photoshop, you'll see Photoshop tells us that image is 29 centimeters wide by 20 high, 29.99 wide, 20 high. So then your new photograph that you're going to drop in needs to basically be the same size as that. So you could just paste an image into Photoshop over the top of this one, save it and upload it, or you could just take your image and crop it and resize it to the correct dimensions and do that. So that's another way that you can basically start changing images and making sure that when they upload it, they all sit nicely, because obviously this image is larger, all the spacing on this page is then going to go wrong. So that's another way. You can just, any image on the website anywhere, you can just take a look at it, you can drag it into Photoshop, you can check exactly the dimensions of that particular image, and that can really help you when you're uploading a new image to give you an idea of what size it should be. So I hope that's helpful. I hope that gives you an idea of, one, how to go onto existing pages and change images. Two, a little bit about image sizing as well. Three, I mentioned the free support, so you've got that there if you do get stuck. And then obviously finally, you can go in and start playing around, and if you're not sure, don't publish, you've done no damage. So you've got that as an option. One thing I will mention is the image slider on the homepage. You are always best to get me to do that, because that is a very specific size image slider. So if you're on the homepage and you want to change the image slider photos, definitely let me do that. Every other image on every other page, though, you're able to go in and change as you wish. If you do make some changes and they don't line up and you're not happy with the sizing, just publish them. If you're fairly happy, drop me an email saying, look, can you just tidy them up, because they're not quite lining up, or they're not quite doing what I think they should. And I can always just go in and tidy what you've done. So don't panic if you do find a few issues once you've done some uploads. I can tidy them up for you. So yeah, hope that gives you everything you need. If you do want to meet up and go through things further and have a bit more of a lesson, a bit more in depth, that's something we can arrange. And if not, then thanks for watching.